Hello, everybody. This is Still Rose's podcast. This podcast has been created for women by women to elevate women's voices. I hope everyone is feeling well and having a wonderful week thus far. I wanted to share something with you guys that I noticed for myself, and so I want to call it out to you. So, I think you guys have heard me kind of get on my little soapbox before about being mindful of how you're treating your body, eating healthy, exercising, like the whole bit. I'm not so great with the exercising. The eating healthy, I'm actually pretty decent at. Part of what spurred me along with getting healthier was obviously physically like how I was feeling. But then I had also read a couple books. There's some guests that came on that were, explaining to me different things about when you get to your 40s and 50s with perimenopause, menopause, that your diet actually really it has a lot to do with how you're physically going to be reacting during these times. So in my mind, I'm like, let me do the best that I can to give my body what it needs because my body's already going to be going through something that is not going to be probably pleasant. So let me just help as much as I can. So normally I'm pretty good with that. And yes, like I have a sweet tooth here and there for things that are salty things, whatever. Like I'm a big snacker, so I try to like maintain some kind of some kind of balance, which again I usually am pretty decent at. The past few weeks I've been having some struggles with like keeping up with my intermittent fasting, so I've been trying to recommit there, which this week is going to be a big recommitting. My husband and I are both starting down that journey again, or reinvigorating that journey. But the one thing that this past weekend I wanted to share with you is that over the weekend I kind of just let it go a little bit. I really didn't do the intermittent fasting. And I also had alcohol on Friday and Saturday. And then I just wasn't eating well. To be perfectly like transparent, I just was not eating well. I was eating poorly. Carby, again, the alcohol I think really had a lot to do with this. On the weekends, I do like to get a lot of things done, but I also like to be out and about, and I like to be out walking. I like to be out physically with my kids and interacting with them. Like this is my time to really spend time with them. Today, the first day in a really long time that I had to lay down and take a nap. Now, I think I've explained to you guys before that I have these days sometimes where I get this really bad fatigue, comes out of nowhere, and I have to rush through whatever it is I'm doing because if I don't, I'm going to fall. I'm going to have to just stop and go lay down. So it hasn't happened to me in a long time, in a while, long enough that I was surprised when it happened today. So I immediately had to, I told the kids, I was like, I have to rush. Mommy needs to lay down. I don't feel good. So I had to rush through making lunch for everybody. And then I eventually went to go lay down for an hour and a half, which honestly is huge in general for the fact that I even did that for myself. But I felt it in my body and I was like, I need to lay down. But while I was doing that and while I was holding on by a thread, making sure that everybody was settled so I could lay down, I started thinking about, why is this hitting me like this today? I should be okay. Now, granted, yes, I am on Slind, and so I'm sure that's having some effects on my body that I'm still getting used to, but I've been paying very close attention to what, my reactions have been to that and anything that I've been feeling there. But then it clicked into place. I haven't been doing intermittent fasting, which is a big thing. I've been eating late at night, snacking late at night. Horrible, horrible habit that I have. And I had stopped for a really long time. So now that I had it back, I'm like, this is terrible. I can't do this anymore. And plus I drank alcohol this weekend. I think the combination of factors pushed me a bit into a worse physical state, and my body reacted to it. And it kind of just all clicked into place as I was taking my nap. And I'm like, this is, if I were to, let's say, go back to eating meat, if I went back to just regular food, processed food, I can only imagine how badly my body would feel if I was putting all of that into it. So it was more of a awakening, almost shock to my system. You have to stop this. You have to get it back together because quite frankly, I don't have time. I don't have time for naps. I don't want to waste time on naps. I want to just live my life. So this is more of a moment for me, aha moment, oh, this is proof is in the pudding, people. Make sure you're not treating your body poorly. I know when you're young, you kind of don't pay attention to it because you think you're invincible. I get it. I've been there. We've all been there. I'm talking to the 35 plus crowd who's like, oh no, I'm starting to feel things. It's time. It's time to just treat your bodies better. It's time to try and put as much good raw food into your body as possible. If you're a meat eater, you're a meat eater. I'm not saying don't do that, but eat as well as you can. Avoid the fatty deep fried situations, try to eat things that are a little bit better qualities. I just wanted to add that note into everybody. It was one of those moments that I was just like, oh man, I really have to get myself back on track. So if you're starting to feel badly, I encourage you to look at your diet, look at how you're treating your body, and like look to food for support in getting through whatever it is you need to get through. Some stuff obviously not possible to use food to treat it, but a lot of stuff is. So I definitely encourage you to look at stuff like that. I hope you all found this episode quick but informative, just kind of food for thought. Pay attention to what you're putting in your body because your body is going to react to whatever you're putting in there. And I hope you all have a great day. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.